In 2022, Google reported that they had used more than 21 billion liters of water. Microsoft has used 6.4 billion liters. Meta has used around 12 billion liters. The annual amount of water used by these companies exceeds 40 million liters. Just in case, with this amount of water, you can water around 4 million trees for 12 months, which is equal to the water usage of around 100,000 houses for a whole year. Water usage is only one of the countless issues that have started to show itself in the AI peak age. And there are many more problems we're facing now, thanks to one of the most crowded trends of the 21st century. From ever-growing demand for cloud infrastructure to one of the biggest economic bubbles of history bursting soon. Thinking about these unintended side effects of AI raises a critical question. Is the cost of using AI just a monthly subscription, or is something deeper?
AI.
It's almost impossible to find a big tech company event that isn't oriented around this word. If you try to take one of these big tech companies' events and trim the parts that they were talking about AI, you'll be surprised to see that you've cut a huge portion of the whole event. Tim Cook talks about the daydreaming about 2013.
By 2030, all Apple devices will have a net zero climate impact.
Then what they do in the action?
Apple Intelligence and its breakthrough capabilities.
And more AI means more power consumption, more carbon emissions, and more problems being left for our hero to solve. AI is often said to be the future, but in reality, the real focus is on money and profit. Big tech companies use AI as a buzzword because it does two things for them. First, it covers up the fact that all they've done in the past year is adding another button to the site or a Copilot button to the sidebar in case of Microsoft. But also another reason that these corporations love this two-letter word is that it came out just at the right time, when almost all of their products were matured and there was nothing new to add or improve. Take operating systems as an example. Major OSs like Windows, macOS, Android, and iOS have existed for decades. Today, these operating systems look like complete solutions that are capable, easy to use, and convenient. Everything just worked in them, so their developers were struggling to find new things that could be improved. And AI has allowed them to have something new again and build hype for their latest updates. The second and more important reason is something else that has forced companies like Google to love AI.
Generative AI. It uses AI to bring AI.
Which I bet you've never heard about it. AI is something that has helped enormous companies enter the race and given many others like IBM a second chance to shine. If AI is such a good thing, why this AI tsunami is harming people? There's no doubt that AI will uplift the level of our lives, just like computers did. So if AI is such a good thing, why it's also causing major problems? You see, one of the known problems that we discussed before was the fact that big tech developers are putting almost all of their time and money into R&D for AI. This means that we're going to have fewer non-AI features in our everyday digital products from now on. Although that's not an inherently bad thing, but it means that the meta of our smart devices is changing, for good or for bad. Another noticeable problem of every app developer making up a ChatGPT wrapper and fitting it somewhere within their apps is that we're going to have more subscriptions than ever before, because many companies have finally found the excuse they need to turn a free or one-time purchase products into a subscription model. But these are all related to the consumer side of things. Remember what I said about companies heavily investing in R&D for AI? And it turns out that the cost is, unfortunately, not just money. At the beginning of this video, I gave you some mind-blowing insights about the water usage of only a few big tech companies. The other problem is that the enormous cloud infrastructure needed for training and hosting LLMs, like every other system, has an output. And of course, I'm talking about carbon emissions. Wait a bit, and slow down the video if you're watching at higher speeds, because you just have to think about the numbers being said in this section. Let's start with this one. Did you know that training one deep learning model as small as GPT-2 or Llama can produce as much carbon dioxide as 5 cars do in their entire lifetime? And there are countless startups and big tech companies out there that train dozens of models every year. Plus, these models aren't just trained for demonstration. They will also be deployed to the cloud and used for a long time after that. And how much carbon emissions do they do in deployments? God knows. Although some have reported their data centers' carbon emissions in some years, even that's not refutable now. Asking why? Well, for many reasons. Recently, mathematics has shown us that the numbers reported by big tech companies like Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Meta don't add up. British news organizations calculate that these companies are probably underreporting their actual carbon emissions by over 7 times. And when you consider the ever-growing demand for LLMs by people and enterprises, it's no wonder why they prefer not being so transparent in their reports. You see, the problem's not just more subscriptions or less useful updates. Heck, it's also not just environmental impacts, lack of information, and possible false reports by big tech companies. The true problem is, if AI is genuinely a good thing for humanity, why there's so much secrecy around it? Companies that were forced to adopt
AI.
You might be wondering, do we have any? Well, yes. Companies like General Motors, Ford, and even Pfizer were declining the use of artificial intelligence at first. When they saw that they were losing the competition to others, they were forced to start utilizing AI to optimize and accelerate their workflows. But it's not only the competition that is pushing some companies towards what wasn't in their plans. It's interesting to know that there are actually 2 other factors that have forced companies like Google, Microsoft, and especially Apple to start widely working on AI. And to get there, we need to review some facts. How do companies make money? Well, in the simplest terms, companies make money by selling products and services. But here's the thing, it's not just about what they sell. It's about staying relevant and ahead of the curve. And this is where AI comes in. Investors play a huge role here. When they invest in a company, they inject cash that the company can use to grow, innovate, or even buy out competitors. But investors aren't just handing out free money. They expect results. This means companies need to constantly optimize, find new revenue streams, and keep their market value up. And guess what? When companies saw that the word AI works like a magnet for investors and each of their competitors that are shifting to AI are making tons of profit, they said, why not us? So fast forward to today, almost every tech company has something to offer regarding AI. Just like the 1990s and, you guessed it, the dot-com bubble. The bubble burst almost overnight, showing that just jumping on a trend isn't enough. And companies whose only plan was to append a .com to every business they did went out of business. If you look at the current state of the AI tsunami, it's almost identical. Customers and even investors aren't aware that replacing customer support with chatbots is not going to revolutionize the industry and 10x the company's profit. It's just going to lay off a bunch of people and replacing it with less trusted alternatives. When AI companies are evaluated like they're building the future, but all they're delivering is internal optimization, it's like slapping a .com onto a bookstore and calling it a tech company in the 90s. Sure, internal AI can save money or speed things up, but it's not the world-changing profit machine investors are betting on. And that disconnect is exactly what feeds the bubble. There's a lot of ambiguity around the word that you've heard tens of times just in this video. Some say AI is the beginning of World War IV. Some others believe AI will solve all of the conflicts between countries. Some people mention the enormous numbers of carbon emissions and resource usage for training and running LLMs, while some others state that AI will solve all environmental problems. And the reason for this ambiguity is simple. We don't know, and we try to guess. Just like when you ask ChatGPT about something that doesn't exist, and it starts giving information about that to you. When the dot-com bubble popped, people started to truly understand the internet. I think that a similar thing will happen with AI too. When all of the hype goes, we will ask ourselves, why? What are these models truly capable of? And in this situation, one company especially stands out, Microsoft. The company that made the world's greatest piece of software, saved Apple from going bankrupt and redefined the personal computers, is now nothing more than a massive financial giant gobbling up big and small AI companies like OpenAI. There's only one way to know what's happened, and that is by watching the video being shown on the screen. Thank you for watching this video until here, and if you want more videos like this, pressing the buttons below the video player helps a lot. See you in the Microsoft video.